Over the past couple years, one of the main changes in society is the fact that the use of AI, or artificial intelligence, has become a lot more readily available. This has had many impacts on the world, but the specifics I want to talk about in this video is how it's impacted the music industry, and specifically the rock and metal scene, considering that's where most of my interests lie. There has been a concerning rise in how normalized it has become, especially with AI art, but I would like to start this off by saying that I know there are some cases, in music and in the real world, where AI can be used to benefit us. It has already been shown to be able to detect illnesses such as cancer earlier, which could save many lives, and on the music side of things, it has been used to produce a cleaner audio from old demos, which has meant in the past couple years we have gotten what will very likely become the final Beatles song to finally have a full recording of it. On the other side, it has also been used to make some of the worst music ever, such as the band Air on Kitten, who are fully AI, and it shows that the bots aren't going to be replacing us anytime soon if this is the quality they can come up with. However, the case that I want to talk about specifically in this video is AI art, and why it not only doesn't look as good as normal art, but is harmful to many artists around the world. First off, I want to have some sort of structure here so I don't just end up fully rambling on about all of this. I do often post about my disdain for AI art on my Twitter account, and go follow me there if you haven't already, and I have narrowed it down the arguments that I often see in defense of AI artwork into three categories. 1. It's less work for the band. 2. It's cheaper for the band. And 3. Why does it matter if it's AI or not? I will go through these points and to the best of my ability try to counteract them, bringing up examples that I think will help with my points. Then, at the end, I will conclude why I personally think AI artwork is harmful to many people, and why I think it's a thing that the music community as a whole should try to strongly discourage. Let's start with the first point. It's less work for the band. The band can spend more time on making the actual music and not have to worry about the art, meaning that we'll be able to get a better product out of it. Also, it means that deadlines will be able to go quicker, and bands will be able to get their music out there without having to worry about delays from the actual artist. That they can just type in a prompt and hey presto, there's your artwork. Well, yes, it is true that AI art may mean that bands are able to get their albums out at a quicker pace. I don't think that the downsides of using it really make up for it. If you're spending time on making an album that will not only be the culmination of a lot of work, stress, and years of practice, but will also be here long after you're gone, then I think rushing it off with a quicker but much lesser form of art that has no thought or effort put into it gives off the indication that you just don't really care about what you've just made. The artwork for an album is supposed to sum up what the album is trying to say in one art piece, and is meant to hook the listener in to give it a try. If you haven't even bothered to make artwork for your album, it gives off that the album doesn't mean anything, or have anything of worth in it, and therefore a lot of people will just skip it. Also, many bands in the past, such as Iron Maiden, Marillion, and Motorhead, have used artwork to help define their image, and has arguably become more iconic than the music in the public eye. A lot of AI art just has no character, and you can see it by looking at bands who have both used real artists and then later on AI. Pestilence, for me, is the best example. If you look at their artwork for their album Consuming Impulse from 1989 and compare it to their newest release, Levels of Perception, you can see exactly what I mean. Despite the fact that, well, yes, the 80s artwork may be somewhat primitive, it has so much personality that you just don't get from their newest, and there is so much character that makes me want to listen to the album way more. Another, more recent band is Cats in Space. After having one of my favourite album covers for 2022 with their album Kickstart the Sun, they very much unfortunately decided to go down the AI art route for their newest album, and it's another one where the difference in quality is staggering. Kickstart the Sun just jumps out at you, drawing you in to listen. Their newest one not only has some glaring AI mistakes, especially on the clock faces, but just looks drab and lifeless, which just makes me not want to listen to it at all. Your artwork helps define who you are as an artist, and while yes, it is less work to get AI to do it, I think the downside of leaving your album without any personality that means your album has nothing defining it to you is not worth it. Let's get to the second point, and for most people, the best argument for using AI, which is the fact it's a lot cheaper for bands to use AI rather than having to commission an artist if they are unable to do the art themselves. This, in theory, opens the door for much more people to make music, as people who aren't as financially stable will be able to get arguably higher quality art than if they made it by themselves. Ignoring the fact that a lot of people, such as myself, would rather take a doodle on a napkin over a piece of AI art, this argument is void for a lot of reasons. For one, this doesn't tackle the fact that a lot of bigger bands still use AI art, whether it be album covers, in the case of Dream Theater and Deicide, and for music videos, in cases like Saxon and Accept. These bands have the finances to get better art or to make actual videos, but a lot of time will choose AI art even if it doesn't look anywhere near as good as if they had actually commissioned a proper artist. Also, a lot of bands in the past have been able to have good art despite the fact they don't have a lot of money. The best example for this is Sepultura, who famously did not have a lot of money, but were able to get pretty good artwork for their split and debut album cover, as with a lot of bands in the new wave of British heavy metal and Bay Area thrash scenes. These bands did not have AI to use, and while yes, some of the art may not be to the best quality, and yes, money does help with commissions, there are a lot of people who will do art for cheaper now if you have a look around. And, as I said before, a lot of people won't mind a worse quality art if it's made with effort and care. Finally, and the main point in my opinion that really shows this argument has no legs, is that pretty much everyone who has the facilities to record an album will have access to a phone with a decent camera on it. A lot of album art, of both the past and the present, have used real life photos as album covers, even sometimes taking photos of the most mundane things. For my take, there is no excuse for using AI artwork for an album cover when you have a way that, if you put a little bit of effort in, can make not only a much better album cover, but one that is not stealing from other artists. But on that note, let's get into my final point. While it may not be an argument per se, the thing I often get asked whenever I talk about AI art and say it's bad is, why does it matter? Well, yes, it may look worse and doesn't have personality. Surely it's up to the artist if they want to do it, and it doesn't impact the music, so what's the big deal? Well, there are many reasons, but I will start with the most obvious and damning one, which is the fact that it steals from other artists. Apart from cases such as the Morgoth Tales video by Voivod, where the artwork it is taking from is a member of the band, AI art is taking from artists that don't know it is stealing from them. If you don't know how it works, a basic explanation is that AI art doesn't generate new art, but instead takes art from random places across the internet and amalgamates it into whatever the prompt was. This means that it is actively stealing from people who don't know it is happening, or have not given it their permission for it to be used, which, at least in my opinion, is a very bad thing. Especially in the rock and metal community, we are predominantly a community that has strived for years by supporting those people, and it's important for us to help support those from all art forms that help us have the community we already do. We should be supporting smaller artists that are looking for a break and trying to make money doing something that they love, just so a lot of people have supported smaller bands who are trying to get a break. Also, AI art has, at least from what I've seen, made a lot of people just more doubtful of actual art being AI art. When the new Nile album released recently, the amount of people that I saw who were convinced that it was AI art was pretty shocking, and shows how even actual artists who are getting jobs are having their art dragged down by a lot of the slop that is out there today. Metal and great album art has always gone hand in hand, so when there is something new that means actual artists are getting it worse off, I think the band should be supporting actual artists rather than taking the easy way out and supporting the art that has kept metal so iconic for so many years. In conclusion, I hope this has made it clear to some people that may have been defending the use of AI art why it is harmful, and will change some of your habits. Also, in the case of Pestilence, criticizing and giving backlash to a band for using it does have an impact on some bands. So if one of your favourite bands are doing it, make your voice heard and try to convince them to change it. If you have any more opinions for or against AI art, please leave them in the comments below, as I'll be interested to see what people have to think about this. But please try to keep all discussions civil. And, as always, follow my Insta and Twitter, and follow my Album of the Year page for my latest reviews. All the links are in the description below. But with that, stay safe, stay happy, and stay metal!